Hello, my name is Katie.
My name is Jessica, and we are presenting on how nutrition affects athletic performance. We chose the topic of nutrition related to athletic performance in order to better understand its effects on the human body. Allowing a team of girls to hear the importance of specific nutrition and how it can improve their exercise and competition performance is vital to their success. Outlining the macronutrients and their energy supply made the most sense in order to show their effects most efficiently, simplistically. It made the most sense to present to the tug of war team when their season is just beginning so the girls can make necessary changes to maximize their training. We have some handouts for you that discusses what we're talking about, and at the end has a 5-question evaluation that you can finish at the end of our presentation.
Okay, so I'm going to discuss the different macronutrients and their percentages of what is recommended for your daily caloric intake. So carbs are 55 to 60%, or it should be, and fats no more than 35, and protein you should take in about 10 to 15%. So carbs is stored in form of glycogen and used in form of glucose, and it's stored in the liver and muscle in order to produce energy. So typically before a big race or any type of physical activity, you're going to want to load some carbs in your body. This will store up glycogen essentially in your body so you can break it down to use during these physical activity. Say if you're running a 5K, this will be beneficial because you can have more to use during the event. So it can rely on blood glucose later in the exercise, which is especially important in order to finish the race. Because if you run out, you're just going to be in a depleted state for the remainder of your workout. So carbs are the main energy source during high intense exercise, and that would be, so a marathon is definitely high intensity, so you're going to use mostly carbs. So high carb diets are recommended in order to bring muscle glycogen levels back to normal within 2 hours after you do your workouts. So you won't feel fatigued after. You'll be able to build up your stores. And before you exercise, it's good to have low glycemic index foods, so there won't be a spike in insulin to drop blood glucose. And so high glycemic foods before a workout will raise your blood glucose, obviously, which is good, but you'll have a spike in insulin as well, which will tend to drop that, so you won't have as much to use. And during exercise, if it's a really prolonged race, you can eat like high glycemic foods in the middle in order to maintain the glucose levels. This will maintain both glucose and insulin. So if you're doing more low intense exercise, you're going to use fats. They're going to break down more. And so fats are in the form of triglycerides, and they break down to 3 fatty acids in a glycerol molecule. So these are slower to break down than carbs. That's why they're not used. There is mostly an unlimited supply, though, in the body, but it does take longer for them to be broken down. They're transported by the blood into the muscle and converted to acetyl-CoA in the mitochondria in order to be broken down through beta oxidation. So when they're used, they can spare the amount of glycogen used, but if you fat load instead of carb load, you're going to end up decreasing your stores of muscle glycogen, which in turn that would not be beneficial for a prolonged exercise. And then the best fats to eat are polyunsaturated because they are liquid at room temperature, so they have less hydrogen, and that would be like olive oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, and some saturated fats are solid at room temp, and they can hinder performance and essentially clog your arteries. And protein is the simplest form, the simplest form is amino acids, and they can also be converted to glucose through gluconeogenesis in order to produce energy. It's mainly for resistance training exercises that those become more important. which is essential for the tug team in order to build your strength. They're going to be used for growth, repair, and maintenance of body tissues, which is good because when you do eccentric exercises for, let's say, like weight training, you're going to have structural damage in your muscle fibers, and you're going to need to build that back up with the use of protein. The recommended amount for strength training is 1.6 to 1.7 grams per kilogram of body weight per day, and endurance you need a little bit less. And too much protein, like in your diet, can overwhelm your kidneys, and they're just going to be thrown off in your urine. And proteins become most beneficial when you combine them with carbs to enhance glycogen synthesis during recovery, and increased plasma amino acids during recovery stimulates muscle protein synthesis, and like I said, that's most beneficial during eccentric training.
Okay, and some other enzymes and proteins that are necessary to help improve your performance. The first one is hemoglobin, and this is a protein composed of iron that binds up to 4 oxygen molecules in order to deliver them to the working muscles, and this is necessary to help improve your performance because the quicker that the oxygen goes throughout your body into your muscles, it improves your performance and makes you be able to perform better. And if you have low iron levels, this can decrease athletic performance. It reduces your immune function, chronic fatigue, irritability, and increased exercise heart rate. So basically your heart is having to work harder for the given intensity. And in order to increase your amount of hemoglobin to help you perform better, you can eat red meat, rice, wheat, oats, nuts, dark leafy greens, and beans. And another enzyme is creatine kinase, and this is located in several tissues in the body, mainly in the muscle. When the muscle is damaged, creatine kinase leaks from the damaged cells, and the amount of creatine kinase in the blood rises substantially. The blood levels of creatine kinase act as an indicator to show muscle damage and to see if overtraining is occurring, and to repair the muscle damage and reduce the high levels of creatine kinase in the bloodstream. You need to eat enough lean protein, which includes soy, chicken breast, and beans. Another thing to increase your performance is to increase your vitamin D and calcium levels. Low levels of these vitamins can increase the risk of low bone mineral density and stress fractures. Calcium is good for growth, maintenance, and repair of bone tissue, maintenance of blood calcium levels, regulation of muscle contraction, nerve conduction, and normal blood clotting. Vitamin D is essential for bone health because it aids in absorbing calcium, regulates development and maintenance of the nervous system and skeletal muscle. In order to improve your calcium, you can consume milk, yogurt, cheese, leafy greens, and dried beans. And to improve your vitamin D, you can consume egg yolks, cheese, and fish oil.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions?
What's the best thing to eat after a tug workout?
Okay, so since a tug practice or workout, so if you're going to do resistance training to build up your muscles, you're going to want to eat protein like before and after. So you could eat like a protein bar, eggs, or whatever, because that will break down into its smallest form, which is amino acids, in order to maintain and grow your muscles. So that's important. You'll probably need a little bit of everything in general, but focus on proteins for resistance exercise. But if you guys are, let's say, like running to build up endurance, or if you're actually like practicing like outside, like in the ruts, you'll probably want to focus on carbs just because it is so long. The way you guys are holding the rope and everything, that takes, your muscles need endurance for that. So I would maybe eat carbs the couple days before, like knowing like what you have to do that day. That will just allow you to work out longer. It'll be more beneficial just for maintaining ATP from your broken down glucose. So that'll help a lot with that. But if you're mostly just focused on those two, those are super important. And then fat for like low intense if you guys are just jogging around one day or something like that. Anyone else?
Do you have any recommendations on like how much to hydrate during the week and before a tug match?
Well, hydration is super important. I'm sure every athlete of all types knows that. So you'll probably just want to hydrate throughout the week. You know, maybe bring like a water bottle to class, like fill it up multiple times a day. Just because you are practicing outside, and when you are in the gym, that you get hot and sweaty, so you're gonna lose important electrolytes through your sweat. So you need to replenish with definitely the lost water, and then maybe a sports drink because that has pretty important carbs in it too, and that'll replenish your stores of the lost electrolytes, so you don't get the heat illnesses if you're out in the heat, practicing for hours.
Got it. Thank you. Very helpful.
You're welcome.